Hello and welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This is Amanda with Crafting with Amanda, and today I'll be walking through two of the cards from the Craft with Heart card subscription provided by Close to My Heart. These are some of the tools that you'll need. That's a dry embossing tool that Close to My Heart used to sell. I love this tool. Easy to hold on to, great for dry embossing. The piercing tool. Then this is the score tool from the Close to My Heart scoreboard. I just really like how it works. This is a jewel picker that I really like. It just helps pick up the small pieces and put them on your project, so you'll need one of those. Then we have two types of glue, the white and the clear. I'm a fan of the clear. Our micro tip scissors, of course non-stick. And then I'm adding the black shimmer brush. This, of course, is the chamois stamp cleaner, and then you'll see there's a piece of black cardstock that I've also pulled out to use with the cards. I am pulling out the supplies for the third card, and I'll only be assembling one card today. I kind of modify from what Close to My Heart has. I like to say I kick it up a notch. And then with the other card, I want to go in and use my Cricut and other tools, added supplies really, to really make it a wow card. So my kicked up a notch, I just try to keep it with simple supplies. So I'm showing how on the card kits it tells you these are the pieces that go with this card. And so you just punch out all the pieces within the line for that card and you're set to go. Going to separate it between the two cards here, and I pulled out my nail file because I have a teenager in the house who happened to walk away with my emery board file, and I couldn't find it. I was on my hands and knees, and well, today it finally showed up, and when I asked about it, he's been making some homemade books and he needed it for filing the pages of his homemade book binding project. So now I'm just going to do a dry fit to see what I like. That's what Close to My Heart suggested in the instructions. And I'm pulling out the black cardstock and probably going to make a banner, just kind of rearranging things, see what I like, what I don't like. So I didn't care for it, the circle at the top, so I'm moving it. And you don't see this, but my paper trimmer was also borrowed by my oldest bookbinder, and I had to go retrieve it from his room. So I got that back so that I could continue to do the cards and creations. So there, moving it off to the side. Dry fitting is great, just to give you an idea of what's going to work, what isn't going to work. I decided I wanted to do some sort of a banner with a ribbon end on it, so that's what I was cutting. I apologize for some of the cuts happening off camera. I'm getting better with my camera angles, but I'm not quite there yet. And for some reason, when I made this video, I just had a really hard time creating the ribbon ends. I think 3 or 4 times I did ribbon ends, and I just ended up having to redo them all the time. So I think a plan's coming together here. Picking my stamp set and deciding where I want it to go. I love the stamp set that's included with the card subscription. There's just so many great sentiments to choose. And because I haven't used all of the stamps yet, I just prepared the stamp, took the kind of the manufacturer's film off of it on the inside of my arm. We're going to ink up the stamp, and this little ink block comes with the set. I absolutely love it. It's just easy to hold on to, easy if you want to take something with you if you have to leave the house. Not that we're leaving the house these days, but in previous life when that would happen. So this says, "You're the greatest." And then that black ribbon banner kind of needed the edges toned down. I could see the white from the core and I wanted them black, so I just inked the edges. Now I'm taking the other half of that scallop circle that I cut, and I'm going to cut a tiny banner to go with the black one, kind of layer the ribbon ends. And again, all that cutting happened off screen, and I apologize for that. I was trying to do a single cut just to maximize the piece I had cut out, but I found I didn't like it, so I went ahead and did just the double ribbon end or award end. I'm placing that up there and seeing what I want to do with it. So I knew that the flowers would need to be pop dotted, so I cut some pop dot because I was going to put that on there, and then I realized, oh, you haven't dry embossed them yet to give them some dimension. So here I am putting the right side down and just running my dry embossing tool over the top of the flowers. You can see how it gives it some dimension, and now I'm adding my foam tape there. And I'll do that with all the flowers, all the layers. This one, I'm curling the top layer up, and you just start at the outside of the petal leaf and kind of work your back and forth towards the center. And then when you want to pop it up, kind of give it more dimension by pushing the center down, you need to make sure that those curled up petals don't get stuck and bent. So you saw me just making sure that they were loose to move. And then this one I just wanted a little curl, so I'm taking the edge of my score tool and I just curled the white little petals up, and I really like how that turned out. And I decided I wanted to curl these the opposite way of what I did, so just going back and redoing it. Thankfully the cardstock is sturdy enough that it holds up to this very well. So the bottom layer, the petals are down, and the top layer, the petals are up, and that's what I decided I liked. So now I'm just going to glue everything together, and it takes so little of this aqua glue but I love it because it gives you a little bit of time for moving around and making sure you have it placed exactly where you want. Now I'm just going to assemble my flowers. I think the hardest part of this is pulling the backing paper off of the pop dot adhesive, but we got there. I have fingernails right now. I haven't played my guitar lately, so I have fingernails. When I play the guitar, or the piano for that matter, I typically cut them right down. So we're just holding that down so that it will stay there, and then I can address the little ribbon banners at the top. Trimming it off because I didn't want it too long, but I wanted to ink the edge before gluing it down. So I'm taking care of that, and then just adding a little bit of the liquid adhesive, placing it as I see fit, adding the little pink ribbon with it. And you can't see it on the film, but it really looks nice in person. Deciding what sentiment I want for the inside. In hindsight, when I was looking at these cards later, I could have used some of the silver star shaker filler that they sent with the kit, and I'm going to do that on the next card, but I could have done it on this card as well. I just didn't think of it at that time. And I'm short on birthday cards, as I have said before, so I am making some of those so that I can send out some birthday cards to nieces and nephews. So that's that card. Pretty straightforward, and yet looks nice. So now we're on to card number 4, and it has a beautiful yellow base. And I'll punch out the pieces that go for that. I love this color combination of the green and the teal and the yellow. It's so vibrant. And then some of the pieces were falling off for the next cards. So I'm going to stash these in the envelope, and I will make that card later, hopefully with the Cricut cuts and other more extensive tools. And now I'm just going to play with, do I like it this way? Do I like it that way? That's how close to my heart recommended it be put. And I'm just trying different directions. If I want a more like a tent, or if I want a side fold card, and I really like things off kilter, so I'm sure you'll see a lot of that in the future. But that's where I landed. I decided I wanted it to be off kilter. Now I'm looking at that of, do you want it as a banner? Where would the sentiment go? So I just play with it, see what fits for you, what calls to you at that day. I think I was also trying to save some of that paper to use because I really liked it and maybe I could sneak a second card out of, but in the end I decided I wanted the whole thing just off kilter and worked really well for me. And I left the happy birthday stamp on the back of this little block because I'll probably use it for the inside of this card. And this says, "Time to celebrate you." Again, I just love that stamp set. There's just so many choices for sentiments. And there's nothing to dry emboss, so I moved my VersaMat off my table and I'm just working over the non-stick mat that Close to My Heart has. I love that mat. It's fantastic. On a normal day I have layers of masking tape and that spread all on it, so I reused it from project to project. And now I'm just adding some Shimmer Brush splatters on the front, and I'm soaking those up on the scrap paper because I'll end up using that as a card front sometime, I think. And now we're gonna just fold the card closed nicely, trim off the little extra because I didn't use it the way they recommended it, so it was a little longer than normal. Add some pop dots to the sentiment. I'll put that on. And then I think you'll see me realize, oh, I have stars I can put on here because this is a birthday card. So I'll get that adhered and then I'll pull out my stars. Oh, I'm going to splatter the inside first. And it doesn't take much to make a really nice effect on the card. Strongly recommend you have a cloth for cleaning up your work surface. I don't like to use the stamp cleaner with the Shimmer Brush ink. I just don't like to have the glitter mixed with the stamps that way. So there's the stars that I'm pulling out. I'm going to put some on the inside and some on the outside. And my glue was really just letting out big blobs that day. I don't know if it was just so warm in the house, but I was really struggling with that. So I tried to wipe the tip off and it still was a lot bigger than I would have liked. But we got there in the end. And now I'm just going to add some stars to the front of the card. And I love this jewel picker. I think I ended up getting it into the glue because the puddles were a little bigger than I wanted. So I just grabbed my piercing tool to help place them. And then later I'll remember that I should have just wiped it on a cloth or on my wrist to get that little glue off, and then it will work better. And I ended up losing one of the stars from the inside, so I will replace that here. There we go. So that's card number 4. And if you want any more information, check out my website, craftingwithamanda.com. Thanks.